You ever notice how exhausting it is to always be the one trying? Trying to text first, trying to fix what's broken, trying to keep connections alive that clearly don't want to stay. There comes a moment, sometimes quietly, sometimes painfully, when you just stop. You stop explaining. You stop proving your worth. You stop chasing people who are perfectly fine without you. And that's when something shifts, not in them, but in you. Because when you stop chasing people, you start discovering the power of standing still. You start to see who was really meant to walk with you and who was only meant to walk by.
We grow up believing that relationships are about effort, that if you just try hard enough, care deep enough, love strong enough, you can make anyone stay. But what no one tells you is that effort alone doesn't build connection. Chasing someone doesn't make them closer, it just makes you tired. Real connection, the kind that lasts, happens when energy flows both ways. When presence isn't begged for, but offered freely. When you're the only one holding the thread, it's not a bond, it's a leash. And the more you pull, the further they drift.
So why do we chase? Because deep down, we think their acceptance defines our worth. We mistake attention for love. We confuse silence for rejection. And we panic because being ignored feels like being erased. But chasing people often has less to do with them and more to do with us. It's about an inner fear that says, if they leave, it means I wasn't enough. It's the childhood wound, the one that taught you love must be earned, that affection is a reward for performance, that presence is conditional. But healing begins when you realize your value doesn't increase when someone finally sees it. It's always been there, even when they didn't.
When you stop chasing, something remarkable happens. At first, it's uncomfortable. You'll feel the silence echo. You'll want to reach out again to fill the void. But if you can sit with it, really sit, the peace comes. You stop checking who viewed your story. You stop overanalyzing texts. You stop bending your energy to match someone who won't even meet you halfway. Instead, you redirect all that energy inward. You start pouring it into your growth, your passions, your healing. And slowly, the people who truly belong in your life start finding you. Not because you chased them, but because your stillness became magnetic.
There's a strange law in human connection. Call it emotional gravity. When you chase, people run. When you stop, the right ones stay. It's not a trick or a tactic, it's an energetic truth. People are drawn to self-assuredness, to peace, to presence. When you no longer need validation, you become the source of it, and people can feel that difference. You go from wanting to be chosen to choosing yourself. From why don't they like me to why was I begging for a seat at a table I outgrew? When you stop chasing, you reclaim your gravity. You stop orbiting around others, and you become the center of your own world again.
Letting go isn't about bitterness, it's about clarity. It's looking at a one-sided effort and finally saying, I can't keep trying to light a match in the rain. You stop begging for closure from people who benefit from your confusion. You stop chasing explanations from those who vanished without warning. Instead, you start closing your own doors with peace, not resentment, because you realize that silence is an answer, distance is protection, and absence is sometimes the universe's way of making room for something better.
When you stop chasing people, you don't lose them. You lose the illusion that you needed them. You stop living on emotional credit. You start spending time on what replenishes you. You rediscover what solitude feels like, not as loneliness, but as alignment. You start enjoying your own company. You find yourself walking slower, breathing deeper, thinking clearer. And then, one day, someone comes along who doesn't need to be chased. Their energy matches yours. Their presence feels calm, not chaotic. And you realize this is what connection was supposed to feel like all along.
Funny thing is, when you stop chasing, some of the people you once ran after start coming back. They'll say they miss you, that they didn't realize what they had. But by then, you've changed. You've learned that peace is expensive, and you won't trade it for temporary company anymore. You stop seeking closure from others because you've already found it within yourself. You stop chasing love because you became it.
So what happens when you stop chasing people? You stop losing yourself. You stop performing for love. You stop settling for attention when you deserve connection. You stop measuring your worth in someone else's inconsistency. And in the quiet that follows, you finally meet the version of yourself that's been waiting all along. The one who knows that peace is not found in who stays, but in who you choose to become when everyone else leaves. When you stop chasing people, you don't end relationships, you end self-abandonment. And that is where true love begins.